This part of the world is famous for the remarkable art of First Nations people. For millennia, their diverse and dynamic cultures of this place blossomed and developed. For over 100 years, however, these cultures were suppressed. They have survived and are undergoing a remarkable renaissance. A new generation of First Nations artists are leading the resurgence. They respect their traditions without being limited by them, and by doing so, they breathe new life. The results are exciting. One of the leaders in this new movement comes from the Haida Kwiaahwah. As a curator with Bill Reid Gallery in downtown Vancouver, her ability to find and encourage young artists is changing their lives and ours. Please welcome Kwiaahwah Jones.
Ya uai ahia, 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 gina gangdang ayah. Sudah Kwiaahwah gangwa haudang ayah haya unsita us kwai danginan gudang ya uai ahia ya uai ahia ya uai ahia ya ya uai ahia, ya uai ahia, ya uai ahia, kina gangdang ayah, ayah sudah Kwiaahwah, gangwa haudang ayah. Haya unsita us kwai danginan gudang ya uai ahia ya uai ahia. What you just saw was illegal in Canada up until 63 years ago. It was only upon the lifting of the potlatch ban in 1951 where you could see an event like this and not fear arrest. Tonight you saw a very important ceremony take place where a carver dances life into the works that he's carved. And this is a very common ceremony amongst the Haida. We do this with weavings, we do this with carvings, we do this with totem poles and canoes. It's very important for the Creator to blow life into them once they're done. The rattle you saw was only finished last night. It is an oyster catcher rattle used by healers. The mask that you saw was inspired by the portrait of Tupac, depicting a fallen warrior. Fallen warriors, the spirit of fallen warriors, are the strongest helpers to a shaman. The song I sang is a very classical Haida song. When I was a little girl, we used to use this song to tell the story of Raven finding the clamshell with the first man. So it's a song we use to celebrate the birth of humanity. And so I want to extend my gratitude to Corey for sharing this very special moment with us tonight. We wanted to share with you a glimpse of our culture as Haida people, hence the images on the screen behind me that show our culture, our territory, our food, things that you cannot find in an art gallery. The highest values of our nation, of the Haida Nation and culture, is a healthy land and sea, family, and high-level human expression. This includes dance, this includes song, this includes story, weaving, carving, language, and finally made food, and these are intertwined to create ceremonies that provide a meaningful experience developed in a sophisticated way to pass along knowledge for generations. to pass knowledge to everyone about the diversity in the world around us. Also, within our nation, within our society, the way you gain social rank is not how much you gain, but how much you can give. That's how you gain your rank. The beautiful mask you experienced tonight, it's featured in the current exhibition at the Bill Reid Gallery of Northwest Coast Art. The exhibition is called ACOS, Corey Bull Pitt, and that's who you saw come across the stage tonight. And this exhibition looks at the connections between Haida and hip-hop culture. It's a beautiful exhibition, and I encourage you all to come to 639 Hornby to see it. The Bill Reid Gallery is a non-for-profit public gallery where I've worked for the last 4 years in a formal mentorship with the former CEO, now become President Michael Robinson. And I work with a tight-knit, multicultural crew to create, curate, coordinate, and program exhibitions and create an opportunity for people to learn about Northwest Coast cultures. In the spring, we're working with Gigame Wallace Guillem, master carver and chief of the Kwiaahwah Nation, Bo Dick, and what we were going to offer is a glimpse into a Kwiaahwah potlatch called the Box of Treasures. My work, our work at the gallery is nourished by human expression with an emphasis on the knowledge that when expression stops, that is where sickness begins. A quote I hear often from my friend Ronnie Dean Harris. So cultivating human expression on high levels makes for a healing energy that we cannot deny. When we look at the darkest chapters of Canadian history, we see that systematic attempt to destroy our culture. The residential school system, the potlatch ban, the great waves of smallpox and other diseases decimated many Indigenous nations. The Haida Nation, an estimated 30,000 strong in 1774, was reduced by 3 waves of smallpox that came in the 1860s. In 1914, they did a census of the Haida living on Kwiaahwah, and there was 589 left, with 300 Haida surviving in Alaska. I look at the pain of this history, and all I can think about is a quote from Bill Reid. And Bill made this in regard to the Haida Nation. It is one of the world's greatest tributes to the strength of the human spirit that most of those who lived and their children after them remained sane and adapted, in part at least, to the strange new world in which they found themselves. What I've come to learn is that art heals. And when I look at the amount of artists, the creative spirits, the singers, the dancers, the weavers within the Haida Nation, I see the power they bring. The Haida Nation is filled with expression and efforts to do all we can to protect, preserve, and grow and nourish our culture. Artistic expressions reach people across borders, races, language barriers, time and space, and they reach in to touch your soul. It is the way as an Indigenous people to tell our story through art. And for the last 4 years, I've watched people come in and out of the Bill Reid Gallery and remark on the healing energy they felt there. As we move forward and work towards reconciliation between Canadians and all Indigenous people, I feel exposure to our art and our culture will offer a portal for Canadians to appreciate the deep knowledge and intelligence we have gained and have been passed down from our ancestors over the millennium. Reconciliation would mean we would get our ancestral treasures back. Reconciliation would be a means to the end of the systematic destruction of our lands and territories, which we have sustained over thousands of years. Reconciliation can mean so much. And what I want to leave with you is this sense that we have these vibrant, very intelligent cultures, and we have this amazing story of survival. And it's time for Canada to unveil its ancient history before it was ever Canada. Because when people know this truth, the world will change. Kwiaahwah.